Don't ever get to that place when you feel like you already got there. You always have to be hungry for growth, hungry for more, hungry for the next level, hungry to please the other person.
That's right. This is Vivian Velasquez.
And this is Raul Velasquez.
Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to the Got Money and Sex podcast. My name is Raul Velasquez and I'm here with my beautiful queen.
Yes, my name is Vivian Velasquez. So happy to be here with you, my love.
We're happy to be back. Last time that we had this podcast, we were in Mexico. We had the Power Couples Retreat. That's been a couple of weeks now. And we committed to this content at least twice a month. We want to be more consistent in giving you guys every week a weekly podcast. But we've been busy. You've been busy. You traveled to Ecuador. You went to see your grandmother. Tell us a little bit about your trip to Ecuador.
It's funny because I got on a Facebook Live that I wanted to do because if you're following me here, I also have a private page. It's called Born to be a Queen. And in there is where I feel safe because it's a place where it's just us ladies. It's where I make my little Queen's Corner and we get to talk a little bit about what it's really coming through me and for me. And I share it. So I got on the page and it was such a tender moment for me. I went to see my grandmother, like Raul said, in Ecuador. And, sometimes we have to put ourselves in a situation where there's some stuff that we need to face. And I knew, this is crazy. Maybe 2-3 months ago, I told you, I said, I was meditating and I have to go see my grandmother. I get to go see her. You got to hold down the fort. I'm not going to be here. I don't know for how long. I knew it wasn't going to be long, but I told you that, right? And then fast forward to the time that I actually had to go, and it was right before Easter. My grandmother had gotten sick. And, it was just like this perfect timing, this divine timing, that me trusting that I had to be there and just having that freedom to go, Raul, because that's something that it's so rewarding as a mother, as a wife, as a friend, as a lover, that your man could actually hold down the fort. And I think for me, that was it was such a support. It's like you got me. And I know that we have this relationship. And for those of you that are watching, Raul and I have been married for almost 24 years. And I didn't always feel like that. And when you start to feel that in your relationship, is everything shifts, like the way that you show up for life, the things that you do, it's completely different. So I went to Ecuador and I had to deal with a lot of stuff. And the minute that I walked through the door, I felt like, an elephant just sat on my chest. Mm-hmm. And that's as best as I could describe it, because everything that was there, everything that I had to face was just so heavy. And it's literally like a chest, like an elephant was sitting on my chest.
And I was feeling that from you when, before going to Ecuador, you were feeling anxious. You were feeling there was uncertainty. And I think as a man, we have to be able to pick up those things from our women, because a lot of the times when I didn't know what I know now, I thought it was about me. What did I do, right? What did I do? Or are you not happy? Or we're constantly thinking that everything is about us, but the reality is that you were feeling that your grandmother needed you by her side. You were feeling that she wasn't getting better.
Right.
And as a man, we have to create the space, and that's what it means to hold the space for women. Is just give you the opportunity for you to process certain emotions, process different feelings without feeling judged.
Right.
Without feeling like I'm trying to fix you. I want to fix you, woman. Like, what's wrong? You tell me what's wrong so I can fix you.
And I didn't even know what was wrong. And this is something that, I truly honor myself for it now, because in the past, it was something I held on to all these emotions that I was feeling, and I didn't even know where they were coming from. But because I am meditating and I am praying and I'm really surrendering into what's happening at the moment, because it's so unknown, for me to really step into this place of truth and courage to say, I have to go. I gotta go. And, in the past, I don't think I would have been able to do that, because I feel I'm not worthy of stepping out from my household.
You're busy.
I got to take care of
all
it.
the things that you have
right?
to do.
I have my queens to take care of. I have all this coaching calls and all these things that I got to do. And I tell you, each and every one of the women that I'm coaching right now, it was just that's another like heartwarming thing for me when I was there. It's like I wanted to show up for them. Like, let me tell you, like I put in my queen mentality and I'm like, I'm going to show up for them because I know that they need me. And I voiced to them how I was feeling, especially 2 or 3 that were really like in this journey together. And they were like, Vivian, take your time. Like when you come back, I know that you got me. And you know, that's how it was. Like I flew in that night on Friday night, and then Saturday morning, like I was up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed because I know that I wanted to serve them. And it was one of the most amazing calls that I've had with them in a while, because it was like such a heartfelt, nurturing place for me to like teach and to lead. And that also, like, it's such a great place for me to be in. And not that I'm like cheering myself on, but it's like you have to celebrate where you have been to where you are right now, because you know, I tell them, I'm like, I would not be able to teach. We would not be able to teach. We would not be able to be and say these things, and we were not doing the work.
And that's what I was gonna say. As a coach, you become a better coach because you're experiencing the pain. Right. You could actually relate to the pain that you're feeling.
Right.
And I think 100%. That's when a lot of men who coach with me, they ask, Raul, how do you get your content? How do you continue? How do you don't run out of things to say?
You go through life.
I said, this is life. The moment that I stop living, that I run out of content.
Yeah.
But my life is being documented. I am sharing my experience. I'm sharing my life. I'm sharing my pains. I'm sharing my struggles. At the same time, I'm sharing my victories. I'm sharing my wins. And I look at framework and how can I use this, what's going on right now in my life, so I can help somebody else either to avoid the pain that I'm going through or to learn from the pain that I'm going through. I mean, that's what coaching is.
Right.
Coaching is really having somebody say to you, hey, I know how you feel. I know I've been there, I've done that. These are the steps that you could take, that I've taken to avoid you going through that pain.
Yeah, I think it's more like, you know, that's exactly how it is for me. Like, that's how I do my coaching. It's like, I'm going through life this way, and this is what I've learned. And almost like having this awareness of like, okay, what worked for me? Let me just tell you from the best place of my heart, with the best intention, like, this is working for me. It may not work for you, but try it. Because if you're doing life and it's not getting you to where you want to be, then you might want to do something different. And, you know, now that you say that, I really think like now I'm in a place where, you know, I'll probably go into the Facebook and do a live and just share a little bit about what it is to really break bondages that we think that we need to carry. And I don't want to get emotional, but, you know, like, we think that we need to carry all these things that don't serve us, that it's not for us. But if we don't do the work, if we don't step into that place of courage and say like, this is it, no more, like, this is where I draw the line. Like, I was able to break those bondages from, imagine like 3 generations of my grandmother, my mother, myself, and I will not pass it to my daughter. So it's like 3 generational bondages, whether it's emotional, spiritual, physically, that I was like, wow, like, I am choosing to heal this place. And, you know, granted, I still haven't had the time, the sacred place for me to like really let it all out, because I've been just going. And I know that's what I tell my queens to practice, but I also tell them like the timing is so perfect for each and every one of us, that wherever you are, like, if you find a safe place to unload what you're feeling, then you create the capacity to build more, have more.
Because I think a lot of us, what we are dealing with in life is a set of rules of how we live, a set of rules of how things are supposed to be.
We think we have to live.
And our parents, grandparents, upbringing creates those rules. So therefore, when your life has certain rules and you don't live up to those rules, then it's chaos. I remember when you and I got married, you have so many rules.
I know.
So many rules. And I have a certain amount of rules. You have so many rules. So then now we get together and now there's chaos because your rules don't match up with my rules.
And I know that I always remember this. Like, you kept asking me, you're like, Vivian, whose rules are they?
I said, who taught you that this is supposed to be?
Yeah, like, whose rules are they? And I'm like, you know, I don't even know. I don't even know if they're my rules, if that's the rules that I really want to live by, or is it that I've been, you know, living this pattern that I don't want to break rules, or is it my mother's rules or my grandmother's rules? It was just like, when you asked me that, for me, was like, I don't know. Like, I have no idea whose rules they are.
That's part of breaking your conditioning. You're breaking the set of rules and you ask yourself, how can I create my own rules? What are the rules that I want to live by? What are the rules that I want to pass on to my kids? It's the unconscious behavior that creates the rules. But now a conscious parent, a conscious man, a conscious woman could set his own rules that are going to serve the highest purpose, as opposed to continue to run a program that you're not happy with.
And that's what I tell like my queens, and that's what I tell myself. It's like, if I get to redesign the way that I live life, how would that be? And then for me, when I started to ask that question, whether it's every morning of like what I wanted to feel, what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go, how I wanted to show up in my marriage, in my sexual life, that was like a big thing for me. Is because, you know, now that we're talking about that, it's like, how did my grandmother pass down those beliefs, those ideas of like, what's sexuality for me? And then she taught my mom, and my mom taught me. And then here I am, like, claiming that back for me of my sensuality, sexuality, my desire for my body. And it's like, holy cow, like that in itself, women, like, if you're listening to this, like, just ask yourself that question, like, how do you claim back the sexuality that is yours? It's like, sometimes it's not even your husband's, but it's like, how is it like your own? And when I started to do that, that was like a Pandora box that opened up for me. And yet I get to go back again to my grandmother and free her from her bondages and her beliefs, because I was under this impression that maybe it's too late for her. Maybe like let her live in peace and like let it be the way that it is. And parts of me obviously like respect that part of her, but then parts of me was like, I have to have the courage to have this conversation, even if it's like, maybe the subconscious won't get it, but I know the soul, like me and her soul were like totally just having that conversation. Sorry.
But it's beautiful to see how you're able to do this for your grandmother.
Yeah.
That it was that intuition that said, I want to go to see her, and how
I gotta
she
be there.
you.
Like I gotta be there.
You know, and I could relate to when my grandfather passed away 5 years ago, during this time, and how my grandfather, you know, was 95 years old. He already accomplished so many things, and it was time for him to go. It was time for him to go, but he was so hard-headed. He didn't want to go. So I remember going to Ecuador, and he was sick. The doctor said that he doesn't have that much time any day now.
And he was
but he stayed there for a week. Like he wasn't going nowhere. And I remember, I was here and I was doing my meditation, and they called me from Ecuador saying you have to say goodbye because this is it. And he was still not. He was refusing to go.
Yeah.
And I got on the phone with him. I told him it's okay. It's okay. I'm going to make sure that your name will live on. I'm going to make sure that your legacy will live on.
Yeah.
And a couple of minutes after that, he passed. And I tell you, I have never felt more connected to my grandfather after that, because the spirit is what connects us. The spirit is what bonds us. Like you said, that you at a soul level, your grandmother was listening to you, was healing at a soul level.
Right. Like I felt like when I was having this conversation with her, because, you know, obviously she's 95 years old. She's had a whole life. Like she's given her best for so many years. But now it's like I'm talking to her like with a different awareness. And I know that she got it. And granted, she's still alive. You know, she still like talks to us and she's still there. But just like parts of her are just so tired already that I feel it. Like I know she wants to go. But it's like you're saying, like your grandfather, something's holding you behind. But it was just, you know, such an experience for me to be there and to be able to have you with the kids and you be the dad that you need to be when I'm not there. Is just, I'm telling you, it all comes full circle and it allows you to grow at a bigger capacity that you always think like, okay, like what's next? And then God gives you what's next. And it's like, oh, okay, you continue to grow.
You know, at the same time, I think that couples need that time apart, so they could actually have the space to miss each other. Because I tell you, when you were gone, I was like, I was missing you so much because like I'm so used to being with each other, right? So when I travel, the same thing. When I travel, you're like, you texting me and you tell me your business. It's something about when you have a house and your partner's not there, and you're so used to going to bed with the same person. You're so used to doing certain things, and when they're gone, it's like, oh shit,
you
like
miss it.
You miss that.
Yeah. It's funny because our first son, Alejandro, he was like, Mom, if you die, like, I'm telling you, the whole house is going to hell because we need you here. And I'm like, it also.
Talk about? I held it down.
I know you did. You did, Papi. You did an amazing job. But for him, like, what he knows, also, like, you feel like, okay, they acknowledge me and they appreciate who I am in this equation. And then I told them, I'm like, you cannot hold on to mom or hold on to dad because you got to do life on your own. Like, we're not attached. We didn't come to earth together. I enhance your life. I try to make life better, but we all have to do our own life. So it was like a lot of things that came through from that.
And I was going to mention this because we started the podcast about what we're going to talk about. And I said that one of the things that I want to talk about in this podcast is confidence, right?
Oh,
how do we help our listeners to get some insights from our experience to get more confidence? Because when you came back from Ecuador, I saw that energy from you, that you were more confident. There was a confidence about you. There was an energy about you, because nothing is more attractive to a man than a woman that knows how to handle herself, that knows how to do her own thing. And just me knowing that, you travel to Ecuador, did your thing, you came back and you handle your business. You handle your business as a queen. You were there and you said, I'm going to do this for my grandmother. I'm going to come back and I'm going to take care of business. That is confidence. So let's talk about, how do you build your confidence to be able to, like, travel by yourself, to go to Ecuador, which is not the safest area, to do all those things, to have the courage to listen to that voice. How do you build that confidence to be able to exude that energy that you have?
Oh, wow. It's kind of like a loaded question, but I would say, if you're listening to this, then know that it's been a journey for me. It's really been this loving, long journey and this road back to myself. And, I always say this to you, like, the older that we get, just there's a sense of awareness and like this wisdom that comes through. And we as women, we play this game that we compare ourselves so much to the woman on social media, the one that she has it all together and has the best body and, like, oh wow, like, she has it all together. And here I am, like, in shambles emotionally, like, trying to make this business work, being the loving wife, doing all these things. And we feel like, well, I should have it all together, right? Like, this should. The comparison game is such a vicious lying game. And then when we fall into that, we feel like we're never going to get there. So the minute that I stopped comparing myself, and I have to catch myself, because social media for me is like, it's such a dangerous road. Like, I see things and I feel like, well, I want to look like that. I want to have that. Just little stupid stuff, right? Like, it comes in and I have to catch myself and say, like, Lord, what is it that you want from me? Like, God, what is it that you have for me right now? And just stepping into that place of not comparing myself and knowing who I am. And the reason why I said it's a long road, because for a long time, I felt like I was lost in the knowing of who I am. And when I look at myself in the mirror, because I've been doing this meditations for, every day for the past couple of years now, always finding that person that I could look at myself and say, like, oh girl, like, you're beautiful, you're bold, you're, like, I go through, like, my name and I say something about my name of who I am, and knowing that I'm victorious and intelligent and amazing and nourishing, or whatever it is that comes through those letters. And then it reminds me of, like, who am I and who did God create? And I know that he doesn't make any mistakes. And when I think that, like, I'm not worthy of it, because I think that's one of the biggest things for us women is, like, we don't feel worthy of it. So I know that God could do it for somebody else, but he may not be able to do it for me because I'm not worthy of it. And now being in this place of, like, I respect you, but I know that I'm worthy of it. It's totally different. And I think that's what gives me confidence.
And it's grounded on a belief that you were created for a purpose.
And not from a place of arrogance. It's sometimes we get lost in like in like a deserving way. It doesn't come from that place, but it comes from a place of, like, building the relationship with God and knowing that I am worthy of this. Like, I deserve this, not because of my own merits, but because he wanted that for me.
I was coaching one of my guys this week, and he was going through a big challenge in his business and in his marriage and even in his health. And we were talking about how he's feeling, right? And he's like, man, I have so much certainty. Certainty is different than confidence. Confidence is like, I could do it. Certainty is, I know that I may not know everything, but I know I'm going to figure it out. You know, you could be confident in a game because you're a good player. Can you have certainty that you're going to figure out the game? It's a different energy between certainty and confidence.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the times we want to feel confident because we look at our history and we have some of the wins. Okay, I'm confident I could do this.
Yeah.
But can you be confident that you're going to figure things out?
Right.
Are you going to be confident that you're going to that you're being guided? And for me, what gives me the confidence is to know that God is guiding me. Like me surrendering to God every single day, praying and saying, hey, God, listen, I'm lost here. I don't have the answers. All right. I'm doing everything I can.
Yeah.
Like I want you to show me the path. And for a long time, I prayed for problems to go away. For a long time, I prayed like, please, God, take this away. Take this.
Yeah.
Now we'll pray for strength. I'm asking God constantly, give me the strength to know that I'm able to deal with this.
Yeah.
Give me the strength. So that is a different prayer than praying for things to go away. And I did a piece of content, a video the other day. I said, weak men pray for problems to go away. Average men try to manage their problems to minimize them. And great men embrace their challenges and they want to have better quality challenges to be able to grow and expand.
Oh, I love that.
So when you're looking at whatever God is giving you, it's like God will never give you more than you can handle. So if you have whatever it is that's going on right now in your life, well,
I have no doubt that you can handle it.
I have absolutely certainty that you could handle this.
Yeah. I listen to your Daily Edge all the time, and some of the times, like I'm like, wow, this is my husband. Like, wow, he's really like dropping some gold. Because it's amazing how, like I see you every day, like you pray, you meditate, and then whatever comes through, you say it. And it's like a one take type of thing. And I'm always in awe of what comes through you, and you just speak it out loud. So hopefully, like if you're not listening to his Daily Edge, like sign up for it. Because I'm telling you, like, it's
to be honest with you, 90% of the time I don't remember what I said because like you said, I am in a state of just receiving, and whatever comes through, I'm just documenting it. I'm just documenting the experience.
2 or 3 times I'm like, this week I'm like, wow, it's like that was really good.
So you see, and that is where creating an energy with couples. The other day I got invited to a webinar. It was all women. Right, they were asking men. I was like one of 4 men who were giving them insights of what do men want. Right, it's kind of like picking our brains.
So
right?
The women are asking the men.
The women are asking there, and there's married women,
okay,
who are or who want to be in a relationship.
Okay,
and we're in a panel. They were asking men, okay, how do you feel love? Like, the question was, how can your wife get you to be the best husband? Right, that's what the question was, to show up as the best husband. So I raised my hand. I said, okay, I have something to share. I said, men are simple. Okay, just tell me.
I know the answer to that one. Actually, I don't like it.
Just give me some clean clothes, like for me, like little things, food, sex, and just tell me what you want me to do. Tell me the things that I'm doing right, and tell me things that I'm doing wrong, so I can fix it. Right? And I need praise, not criticism. So like right now, when you said about my Daily Edge, I felt so good when you say that, because that's praising, right?
Right.
And that makes me want to do it more. Now that you listen to it, I'm going to be doing even better, right? I can't tell you how many women will comment in there and said, how about the women? How come the women don't get praise? The women should. The question wasn't about women. The question was about men. But even when women are asking a question and a man is telling them what is experience, they try to make it about themselves.
Yeah.
So for me, confidence, when I see you, confidence that you are not a needy woman. You're not asking me to praise you. I'm not asking you to praise me either. But when the energy is there, it's being elevated. So you elevating me, I'm elevating you. We're elevating each other, not from a place of, I need you to praise me. I need you to look all the things that I'm doing great.
Yeah.
But we are seeing the mirror that we have between each other.
And it's through trial and error. I feel like, we've done our share of failures, I guess you could say, or just mistakes. And from that, we've learned. I don't think like we've ever continued to do the same thing over and over again if it's not getting us anywhere. I think that's so important in a marriage and a relationship. It's like, how do you get that as feedback and continue to grow not from a place of judgment, but it's like, how do I grow first of all? And then, whether you choose to follow or not, that's up to you.
So I'm going to give the listeners, if the men who are listening, I'm going to give you 3 things to increase your confidence in your relationship. Number 1 is don't expect your woman to constantly tell you what to do. If you want to be confident, if you want to create confidence, you have to show up first and get the feedback. Like half the battle is showing up. There's so many things that I've done that you didn't ask me to do. And there's so many things that I did that it was course correct. But the behavior of men that I see out there is like, oh, I'm going to check with my wife to see if she let me do this. Or I'm going to check with my wife to see if she's okay with it. No, if you want to create that confidence, you got to take action, and then the results will happen after you take action. Would you agree on that? If I tell you, if I'm constantly asking you for permission, would that increase confidence in our marriage, or would that decrease the confidence that you have with me?
It decreases confidence. It decreases my desire for you, because I feel like you're just continuing to put all this shit on me. It's like, you take care of it. I have enough to deal with. Like, you deal with what you have to deal with. Not from like, oh, I don't care what happens to you, but more like, I know that you're capable of handling and making that decision.
Handle your business.
Because I know you have the best intention for our household, for our marriage, and for our relationship. Like, deep down, I know that if you don't have that intention, the best of intention, then maybe that's something that needs to be healed already. But I know that you have the best intention, so make the decision. Make the wise decision. So
number 1 is make decisions. Make sure that you take action, that you're not asking for permission. Number 2 is get clear. Get clarity. What is it that you want from your relationship? Get clarity. What is it you want from your life? A lot of men, they live in confusion because they're not clear about what they want. They're not even clear about who they are.
Right.
Don't fall into the trap of trying to find validation through your business, through your family. You find out your core, what you want. And from that place of what you want, you start letting go of the things that you're not willing to tolerate. Because when you have clarity, you have confidence. When you have clarity, you're like, okay, this is what I want. If you're not giving what I want, what can I do so you give me what I want? What can I do what can I provide so then our needs will be met? So number 1 is take action, don't ask for permission. Number 2 is get clear. Number 3, which is the most important part of it, is don't think for a minute that you already made it. Always be hungry for growth. The moment that you think you already got, like, we're promised. We're 25 years of marriage. We're good. We're never gonna get divorced. Or she loves me, or she knows that I love her. We're gonna be good. No, don't ever get to that place when you feel like you already got there. You always have to be hungry for growth, hungry for more, hungry for the next level, hungry to please the other person.
That's right.
You have to be hungry. That's why we love going to date nights. That's why we love traveling. That's why we love doing all those things, because we're constantly hungry for each other.
So I would say my 3, just to summarize, I would say, like I said at the beginning, don't compare yourself to others, because there is no one like you. No one. Number 2, I would say take time to know who you are and fall in love with yourself, because the minute that you love yourself, then your man will start to love you all over again and see that light, that attraction that you have for yourself. And number 3, know that change happens. I think a lot of us women, like, we feel like we need to be stuck into like these rules that we were talking about. Like, I am this person and this is who he knows. And then if I change, he may not love me. If I change, I may not love myself. But know that change happens is something that's inevitable for us to go through, whether it's super fast or just slow. But know that there's always a different version of you, and whoever shows up, like whatever that version is, that's who you need to start to fall in love with yourself all over again. And it's a process. Don't get frustrated. Don't belittle the process. Just allow yourself to really like take it all in and know that that you are amazing. Like, I speak to so many women that feel so unworthy, so less than, and I could relate, because there was a time in my life where I felt like I was not doing enough, that I'm not enough. But the minute that you check in with yourself and you gift yourself the time, then it's like, oh, okay, I remember. And that's the reason why my program is called Remembering to be a Queen, because it's not rocket science. I will never teach you something that you don't already know. I'm just allowing the space for you to remember that exactly that you were born to be that queen that God created in you.
Love it. And I love your confidence. I love your energy. I love that you're back with us. We continue to pray for your grandmother.
Yes,
I know that she's an amazing woman.
Yes, she has been.
Her legacy will live on through you. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you comment. I will see you next time. Learn it, live it, experience it.
Love life.
If you receive any value from this conversation, comment, subscribe, and share as we continue to impact more people and take it to the next level.
And please send us your comments and questions so we could answer them in the next podcast.
See you in the next episode.